The Virtual Boys have been playing Nintendo since they were little. These many years of experience have made them experts in the field, or at least they think so. Join them this week as they talk about, well, E3. You're listening to the Virtual Boys podcast by Nintendo City. This podcast is done by four friends that talk about anything and everything Nintendo. Check out our website at nintendcity.com and be sure to follow us on your social network of choice. Please be sure to subscribe and share us with your friends. Oh, and please enjoy our show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Virtual Boys podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things. This is episode 56, and I'm your host, David. The game is fun. Joining me today are Skylar.
The game is a battle.
And James.
If it's not fun, why bother? If it's not a battle, where's the fun? Pontificate that, if you will.
Oh, good old Reggie. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Again, Jordan's not able to join us. He's been a really busy guy the last few weeks, so we'll just have to forgive him. He'll be back eventually, though, so we're hoping on that. In this week's episode, we're going to talk mainly about Nintendo's E3 presentation, which includes the Spotlight and the Treehouse Live event. And during the past few episodes, we've made predictions about what we would see and not see. We've been talking amongst ourselves, and we think that we were pretty close on some things. However, there were definitely some surprises, which we'll talk about. Before I hand it over to James for the discussion, we just want to say thanks for listening. It sure means a lot. Stay tuned for more information on how you can help us keep the show going and show your support. Anyway, James, let's go to E3.
Thanks, David. So E3's come and gone, and, we got to see all the conferences and Nintendo's, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, their presentation, if you will. But we got some few announcements, even fewer surprises. So, I mean, were you happy, disappointed, or somewhere in between with E3 overall? And then we're not just talking Nintendo here. We're talking the big companies. Overall, what were your thoughts on E3?
Well, my thoughts. I was fairly impressed with quite a few things that happened. It was certainly fun to see a lot of Nintendo's reveals, of course, but I was paying attention to the announcements from the other companies, and I don't think E3 was a total failure. I mean, I've seen some negativity running around the internet, like, "Oh man, Microsoft totally bombed it." I mean, yeah, it wasn't the best per se, but I think that it was a pretty good E3. I don't know. I don't think there were too many groundbreaking innovations in the gaming world, but we did get a lot of really cool games.
Oh, yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, even outside Nintendo, I guess we got a couple here and there that were really good, like that new Monster Hunter coming out, and some other games that people really excited for. I wasn't a big fan of Microsoft press conference either. Definitely does not convince me to buy an Xbox One. I don't really care to play Minecraft in 4K. Sorry, guys.
But 4K, man.
Yeah, 4K.
Look at all the pixels.
There's so many Ks here. Anyway,
the whole four of them.
All 4Ks of them. But honestly, Microsoft, get some. You keep saying you want some exclusives. Stop canceling your exclusives. Make your own in-house stuff. Then maybe I'll buy your Xbox One. But as it stands right now, I'm not going to play games that I can play elsewhere on your extremely expensive $500 console right now.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, yeah. I was looking at the list of games, and none of them are necessarily exclusives for the Xbox One X. Like, they're all available on PC too, so there's like... I don't see the reason for buying one just yet. I mean, maybe they'll release more stuff, but... I don't know. I'm not sold.
I don't know if they'll ever really have a Xbox exclusive, meaning that I think they'll have one that you can play on the Xbox, but on Microsoft PC.
The only one I know of is Halo 5, and it wasn't quite what everybody wanted.
But could you play that on PC?
No, it's Xbox One only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Interesting, because I thought they had the whole thing where all games on Xbox you can play through the Windows. Maybe
they might be doing the stream.
That shows how much I know Microsoft.
They might be doing the streaming service where you can stream the games from your Xbox onto your big glorified TV, but you still have to have the Xbox to run the game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not. Okay. It wasn't well thought out.
The fact they were definitely pushing the whole exclusive thing, pushing it down our throats during that conference, and for good reason. Like Skylar was saying, the exclusives are not there, so they're trying to prove, we do have these, but a lot of them are launch exclusive. At least that's what they say,
right?
And that sounds like timed release. So timed exclusive. So some of the indies that were coming to Switch were timed exclusives as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of like you can't blame them for trying, but at the same time, the easy solution here is in-house first-party games.
Yep.
Like back when the Xbox first came out.
Absolutely.
And obviously they still need the support for third-party. There's no question about that, but. I don't know, let's get more going. Sorry, I kind of went a little too long on Microsoft's, but for me, I personally think this E3 was rather disappointing overall.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo was definitely a breath of fresh air, if you will. I've been kind of using that phrase a lot lately, and I think that's kind of been the theme of Nintendo in general. This for 2017 is breath of fresh air. I mean, with the Switch and Breath of the Wild. But,
Breath of the Wild.
Right, exactly.
Breath of relief.
It is kind of relief. But going away from that real quick, I mean, a lot of the conferences were lackluster. EA's was typical EA, I guess you could say, but it wasn't that grand.
Ubisoft had a pretty good one.
Right, Ubisoft. No, I thought Ubisoft, surprisingly, was one of the better ones, if not the best. You could say it was better than Nintendo's, except if for me personally, it wasn't because I'm such a huge Nintendo fan, but Ubisoft had a great concert, and you kind of start to think it's probably because they got rid of the one host lady. I think she's taking a break this year or something. But it flowed so well. There was so much passion in what they were doing, and they had a lot of the great releases Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a lot more edgy this time around, but still that was a great reveal. Ubisoft had a great conference.
Man, those Rabbids guys were so passionate.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, the guy was just like, "It's finally out." And they're like the best, worst kept secret, whatever it was called.
Yeah. The game that
the
game nobody knew they wanted.
The game that everyone knew about.
The game everybody.
Oh yeah.
The game everybody didn't want to be real, but
please don't be real.
But knew that it was real and may now realize that it's a game they all need.
It actually looks fun. I mean, we can talk about that in a minute, I guess, but yeah.
We'll talk about that a little later. So, but like you said, Skylar, Ubisoft had a great conference, which is surprising for them. Even with the dancing panda, I think it was this time. That was, I mean, you just know it. The next Just Dance, you're going to have something really weird.
Oh, yeah.
So watch out for that, everybody.
Everybody's going to be
watch out for that.
Wearing different costumes.
Right.
Okay.
So, I say... overall, it was disappointing because Xbox One X had that was a lame name compared to Scorpio, and sure has 4K, but it's $500. Yeah. And like we were talking about, the exclusives aren't there, but they did show off some promising things. I'm not gonna lie. So I give Microsoft did okay.
Yeah.
Better than last year.
I just want to say real quick for those of you that may not have noticed this yet, but Xbox One X acronyms down to Xbox again. They've come full circle.
Yeah.
XBOX.
It's so silly.
They'll also be confusing their marketplace because the kids are going to want an Xbox One X, but they also have the Xbox One S.
Yeah.
And so
all I know is
right. So
someday in the future when archaeologists are looking at our time, they'll be like, how did they manage to fit 360 Xboxes into like a 6-year time frame and then go back to one? It's just going to be the naming convention is just weird. Anyway.
All I know is there's going to be a lot of disappointed kids at Christmas.
Well, yeah, the grandma's going to be like...
their parents buy the Xbox One S instead of the X.
Well, yeah.
Which probably for the grandma, they're like, oh, shoot, I don't have to spend $500.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the grandparents were like, "Oh, this one's $250. This one's $500. Oh, okay, I'll give them the $250 one."
Exactly.
There's no difference.
No difference at all.
I mean, in terms of like what games you play, no. But I guess in quality, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I two more things I want to say, and that's about Sony and Bethesda. Bethesda's conference, in my opinion, pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was probably one of their worst ones. The reason being is they just kept milking the current IPs, that being Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Fallout 4 is more understandable because it's a recent game, but Skyrim's been out for 6 years and they're still just talking about it, and doing every little thing. I mean, we're not even talking about DLC here, which they already have done, and it's been great DLC. We're talking about just like, I don't know, just little things like trading card games, the VR experience, which actually is kind of cool, I guess. But it just keep milking it and milking it more. The paid mods and
Yep.
Exactly.
It was just not very great.
Where's the next game? Come on, guys. Just
yeah,
they could have at least told us.
They
it was in
did show
development.
off like 1 or 2 new games, but it was just, I don't know. Even within 2, I guess that's hype. It's just, it's hard to be overall pleased with what Bethesda showed. I was disappointed with my trip to Bethesda Land. Let me just say that. And then lastly is Sony's conference. Always, Sony has the best presentation, hands down, always. With their orchestra, that freaking falling waterfall. Oh gosh, I mean, it was so good, and they just kept pumping out the games. With little talking in between. And that Spider-Man game at the end was amazing. The issue with Sony's this year was they didn't have the games we expected, like the new games that weren't necessarily coming out this year. I mean, they had God of War. That was great. They had... what's that? Their other zombie game they're working on. But they didn't show like The Last of Us 2 or Death Stranding, the game that Kojima's working on. And it's just, and I guess previously to E3, Kojima said they weren't going to show anything, and that was news to me. I had looked that up afterwards. But still, I was expecting that game. Now they did, like I said, they did show some games. Show some games. Monster Hunter World. And Shadow of the Colossus, the HD remake. That's pretty big, especially World. Mm-hmm. But it just wasn't the same level of excitement and hype as their previous shows. So overall, I'd say Sony was okay. Spectacle was like phenomenal. I'm just always blown away by the presentation. And like I said, Spider-Man looks a lot of fun. Some people are complaining about the game, but like the command motion, I don't know. I think it fits Spider-Man very well. But that's, sorry, I wanted to be brief, but I went on and on and on about the whole thing. I don't know. I expected to see a lot more, especially from Sony, and I didn't quite get it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know. I didn't really watch the whole thing. I just followed the announcements, but yeah. Yeah,
maybe that's different. If you're just following the announcements, maybe it's a little more, not as hyped in the sense,
Yeah.
Like you can get more excited for what's shown instead of what's not shown, and perhaps that's my issue, is I get too excited about what could be shown instead of focusing on what is. So that's a good point.
I don't know. I've never really stepped outside the realm of Nintendo when it comes to like E3 and announcements and stuff. So anyway, that's my stance there.
So now we'll go ahead and move on to Nintendo's portion, the Spotlight and the Treehouse Live. So let's just talk about it as a whole real quick, or the Nintendo's presentation, and then we can go into the specific games later. Did you like Nintendo's presentation this year?
I still miss the conferences that they would do where they had big presentations on the stage and stuff. I mean, I just remember being so excited for those, when I was younger and a few years ago. But I think this is the best E3 that they've had based around that Spotlight, that Nintendo Direct, that pre-made video content that they've done. I think that this has been the best executed that they've done, like... Did you where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know.
I agree. Probably in the past 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, probably the best E3 they've had in a long time. The
totally.
Game, they listed game after game after game, and they're all coming within this year or next year.
And it was so exciting to just, get like title after title instead of just, okay, I guess we'll talk about maybe this next big one that's coming. I don't know. I think it built up the hype a little more, and I think it was a lot more watchable for the people at home to just get, half an hour of everything that they needed to know just right off the bat, except for maybe one title that they announced later. But yeah,
I think showing the Switch titles like they did was pretty great, and they had the big surprises throughout the whole conference. And like you guys were saying, it's just game after game after game. I wonder if having the 3DS games separated from the Switch games was a good thing or a bad thing, because a lot of people started just talking about the presentation as soon as the Spotlight was over, and they just ignored the Treehouse, which is not how Nintendo's presentation works. Sure, other people have their presentation and they expect everything to be announced then, and then they go into gameplay later. But the way Nintendo's doing it is, I don't know, their whole thing is their presentation.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to change the public mindset, though, in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
Because they want people to conform to them instead of them conforming to other people.
Yeah, I mean, they're their IPs, it's their stuff, and if it works and builds up the hype and gets the word out, then yeah, it's great. I mean, they had these trailers all ready to go as they were coming out. I don't know if you guys were watching the YouTube feed like I was, because, we were covering E3 live, at nintendcity.com/E3. And so I was just constantly looking, okay, did that trailer come out? Did that trailer come out? And they came out within a few minutes of when they hit the presentation. So, I mean, it was really incredible to just watch. They were ready. They were on top of things, and they knew what was coming, of course, because it was perfectly timed exactly as they wanted to. And then going into the Treehouse Live, they showed us lots of awesome stuff about the games. It wasn't like, the YouTube E3 channel was just constantly streaming Nintendo stuff for the next couple of days. But if you were following Nintendo's Twitch, you got a lot of information about a lot of awesome games. They showed off a ton more stuff. And they showed off the really hype Splatoon 2 tournament that I thought was so fun to watch, and the ARMS tournament as well. I think it was really great for them to go that direction with E3.
Yeah, I thought the tournaments were great. I mean, kudos to Nintendo for putting on a very entertaining tournament. Was it the best? I mean, no. Obviously, there could have been things that were done better, but in the end, for how fun it was great. It was great. Yeah. Just watching it.
I didn't end up watching the tournaments. It's not something I'm really into.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not into it either, but I got, for some reason, I still was wow, mildly engaged.
Yeah.
As for your question on if the showing the 3DS and Switch titles separately hurt their appeal, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, they clearly understood that people are more interested in the Switch titles right now, and the 3DS base is large enough that, a game like Metroid will probably sell really well on the 3DS, as well as the couple of other titles that they revealed. But, just the fact that they focused on Switch titles almost entirely during those first 26 minutes showed investors which of course they care about, as well as the consumers, yo, get your hands on a Switch as soon as you can, because look at all of this awesome stuff coming out for it, like, right now.
Yo, get your hand on a Switch we don't have produced right now yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming. They promised to bump it up to 10 million by the end of the year.
My brother has been looking for a Switch for the past 3 or 4 months, cannot find them. They are selling for $420 or $400 right now, being scalped online.
Jeez.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm trying to tell.
Nah, he won't do it.
He won't do it for sure. But he's like, why in the world can't I find this product? There are Switch ads on my TV right now telling me go buy ARMS, but I do not have a Switch.
James, didn't you post like an article today, as of this recording, like Nintendo saying that the shortages are unintentional? They just didn't anticipate enough demand. Like, they sold 2.7 million worldwide in the first month, but they forgot that.
It's according to like one of their communications coordinators, whatever. He said that they literally had no idea the demand would be this high. Not to say that they didn't have high expectations. It's just when you go after, and this is my opinion here. When you go after Wii U, which did not sell very well, I mean, they kind of had to make sure that they put their expectations, reasonably low.
Yeah.
But anyway. So I agree with you 100%, David. This was meant to hype up the Switch, and then show that. And then the rest of the presentation was to show that E3 or that the 3DS was still in the minds of Nintendo. That it's not dead yet. It still has life.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you change their presentation for next year, if you would?
That's such a hard question to answer right now, because I was so satisfied with what they did this year. I didn't really think of, what could they have done better? I wouldn't then. Yeah, I think that the format that they have is great.
If they're not going to do a floor show, this is perfect.
So then wait a minute. If they're not going to do a floor show, that means that you would change it to a floor show.
I always prefer floor shows. I like seeing the guys get up there on stage. But
yeah, it's always fun to see them get up and present things. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind them going back, but I was very happy with what they did this year, in my opinion.
Just listing them all off, and tons of games in the list too. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
So does Nintendo need to go back to the traditional presentation?
I would say no. It's not a necessity anymore for them to go back. They've established what they do now.
If you've listened to our previous discussions about E3, you know that I am like in the minority here when I say I really prefer the video presentations. I did like the show floor stuff. It was kind of fun seeing Miyamoto mess around with the Wii remote, even though he was definitely failing at times. But I personally feel like the video presentations are, one, more entertaining, and two, you get the information you need. Even if you have like a little bit of developers talking there, like they did in this, they had like one of the I can't remember his name, but one of the developers was talking, saying, "I can't believe the Switch sold so well. We're so happy.
Yeah.
We're glad you guys are supporting us." And then they turned it over to the Pokemon guy, and he told us about the announcement. So I think you can have the presence of these developers with the video presentation, and I just personally think it's the way I prefer it, and Nintendo should keep on doing it. The one thing that I would change with this whole thing is more puppets. No, I like the entertainment thing that they had going on, like the hilarious skits, and I kind of miss those. With Robot Chicken and the Muppets or whatever they had, those were funny. They weren't the greatest E3. Well, especially the Muppets one. Unfortunately, they had such a great presentation or that comedy, but they didn't have that many great games coming.
Yeah.
So that's kind of overshadowed that. If they were to bring that back, then I personally think it'd be perfectly entertaining. But as far as content and title reveal goes, I prefer the video format and the Treehouse. I love their Treehouse presentation. I personally think it's a great way to get me hyped for the game and get to know more about it.
Yeah, I'm still not a big fan of the Treehouse live bits.
Fair enough.
I just some of the commentary at times is like, And half the time I feel like...
I guess I like...
Do these people even play games sometimes? Like, some of them anyway. Not all of them.
Some of them. No. Right. I totally get you.
And it's cringeworthy to watch
part
them
of
play.
Part of me like finds a little... it's kind of like charming in a way, in the sense that that they don't know, sometimes they don't know what they're doing. It's just kind of laughable. But at the same time, they are trying, and they want to care. I do wish they had. I agree with you. I wish they had better people, maybe a little more charismatic at times. Some of their people were a little bland, but not everyone's a star like we are.
They don't all run podcasts.
All you need to know is Xander is Max waifu. So I mean, that's all you need is Xander. Screw Ryoma.
Apparently,
Ryoma's the worst character in the whole game, so don't need to talk about him at all.
Because he kills leaves.
Battle of Husbands. I'm sorry. Because he kills nature. He hates nature.
He hates nature.
Just hates it so
especially
much.
Leaves. I guess another part of it that's entertaining for me is listening to the developer, the translate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, before in the presentation we had that, but it was very scripted and very much not that entertaining. You don't get too much of their opinion per se. It didn't feel real. Whereas with these Treehouse, they ask these questions, and some of them are obviously scripted, but other times you get some really interesting information that you didn't normally get in those presentations. So, and I like to see how the translation works as a Japanese speaker myself. See, I would have translated that differently. Like, oh, hey, I didn't know what that word meant, or something like that. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the whole thing. I personally think they could keep this formula and be totally fine, as long as they have the games to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if they had crappy games, it would be quite a different opinion, I think.
Yeah.
So, among these games, we got a lot of new ones, a lot of ones that we knew were coming. But compared to last year, it's just a ton. Last year, we just had Breath of the Wild. And obviously, that's an anomaly, but, I mean, it's kind of refreshing,
Yeah.
Oh, this year is a blast. This year is great.
Like, both in terms
Skylar
of fun and the amount of stuff you could get, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I had a blast last E3 just because of Zelda. That's because I'm a huge Zelda fan. So it was basically catered toward me. and David.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're gonna run through these titles that they announced real quick, and give our thoughts on each one. Some may be longer than others, but bear with us. So this may be a long episode. Just
we'll see what happens.
Just so you know. All right. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's going to be coming out holiday 2017. Now, we knew about this one since the February presentation of the Switch. What do you guys think?
I am really excited for this one. It's definitely way more anime than the last one was, if you could even picture that in your heads. But
yeah,
I mean, it looks so fun. The combat looks like it's evolved quite a bit since even Chronicles X. They've got, I think I saw up to 5 people in a party at a time.
It looks streamlined.
Yes, absolutely. Very streamlined, which I think will make for a more fun and action-packed type of combat. Mm-hmm. I mean, the combat in Xenoblade Chronicles is one of my favorite combat systems in an RPG, but I think that this one they took the best bits of it and just enhanced those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the story is going to be pretty good. It looks really cool how they're adjusting from the story from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I don't know if we should necessarily mention spoilers because I don't think the game has been played a whole lot by our listeners. And it could probably give away a lot of things. But anyway.
Well, all we know is that it's not a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a direct sequel. At least that's what the Japanese developers said.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really fun. Skylar, before we were talking together, Skylar, you were talking about how you don't really like the art style. You want to explain why?
I think it's okay. I just think it deviated too much from the original art style.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a tiny bit worried that this is going to turn into one of those games where it's like it's another JRPG. Just in that kind of sense. But I'm optimistic. I think it'll look good. But I just wonder how the story is going to hold up compared to the original Xenoblade game, which was phenomenal. That story was so good. I just don't know how this game's going to hold up to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I said some of my thoughts on this game in our minisode, but what I want to say is about the story, the fact that the developers comes out and says we kind of just want we see a lot of these deep kind of, I don't know, existential stories in JRPGs these days, so I wanted just to make a simple boy and girl love game, and that kind of got me worried. I mean, I know you can have a good like boy and girl fall in love, happily ever after kind of a game, but
see, this is what I'm talking about.
It kind of worries me, man.
It's what I'm talking about, because the original Xenoblade was over the top crazy, like awesome story, everything. That's not to say that there won't be moments like that in this game, but if it's just a traditional story, there are a million games where you could play where it's boy girl falls in love with girl game, or
not according to the developer. He feels like it's going off the unbeaten path.
Okay, alrighty. I don't know how.
I don't agree with
how many
him,
games has he played? I'm just
maybe I don't know. I really don't know. Yes, I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm just a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, it's a fair point to be worried about for sure. I mean, anyway, I also wanted to say that the music sounds like they've gone back to the style from the original,
which is good.
Yes,
the music from X, it had really cool moments, but it didn't feel like Xenoblade to me.
There was some weird stuff in there.
Yeah.
The main hub world music was so weird.
Yeah, so strange. There were some good songs, but I'm glad they got the same guy back, and it looks like we're going to have some really good themes. This personally is my most hyped game besides Odyssey that's coming out this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Super Mario Odyssey, that's just so much hype behind that, so much excitement. But next to that is definitely Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This has been one of my favorite JRPGs, the first one, and like I said before, it's a culture shock with the art style, but I'm excited to see if they can produce the same sort of quality and fun entertainment that they had with the first one. But
yeah.
Then again, Shulk's not in the game, so who knows? Although he could be. Yeah. He may be in the game, but I doubt it.
Just a little cameo appearance from Shulk.
Yeah,
Shulk. Who's this guy?
That'd be hilarious.
I hope it lives up to the Xenoblade name. I hope it's really good. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. I hope it doesn't turn into Final Fantasy Hallway.
That'd be bad. I don't think it would be Final Fantasy Hallway, but
so as long as it doesn't do that, the game will be really good. So they said they were a little bit less exploration in this one, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Not too sure.
Yeah. Well, let's hope
if you saw the gameplay footage, there's definitely a field. So at least it's more than just a hallway.
Hooray! How long does it take to get there, though? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. JRPGs, lame game like. Anyway.
JRPGs. So look for that holiday 2017.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to talk about it when it comes out.
Yes. Next up is Kirby for Nintendo Switch.
It looks beautiful.
That's going to be out for 2018.
Yes.
This game looks so good.
This was kind of this was unexpected. Like, honestly, it should have been expected, but for me, I just wasn't thinking. Oh yeah, they should bring a Kirby game.
Well,
Yeah.
they told us at the last direct or whatever, a couple directs ago, that they were making a new Kirby game, but we all assumed that it was going to be for 3DS.
No, they said it was 3DS.
Yeah, they said they were making one for 3DS and it would come out this year.
They haven't revealed that game
they haven't revealed
yet.
that one. Okay.
But they
Yeah.
haven't
That's
said
right.
anything about it yet.
Oddly enough.
But this one looks like
Unless-
Superstar, and I am stoked. I love Superstar.
Yeah,
possibly
it looks like
my-
Superstar with some elements from Crystal Shards. You can have combination
And Squeak
abilities
Squad.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
like the combination abilities are back, at least in some form.
Kirby Superstar might be my favorite Kirby game. So seeing them go back to that formula is amazing. I
Yeah,
absolutely love Kirby
Yeah.
Superstar.
capturing your enemies. Oh, excuse me, that's Mario Odyssey. I mean, commanding your friends' enemies, making them friends.
Making them friends and having your friends play as them. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It looks super
great.
fun.
yeah, and it looks beautiful on the Switch.
It's
yeah.
better than everybody's a Kirby. So I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's
It's true.
different now. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of new stuff they add to this. Although I don't think anything will top in terms of novelty. I don't think anything will top the mech. No, I just don't think it's possible.
It's like,
I'm sure
Just
it'll be
you
a
wait,
great game.
James.
Maybe the best. May
Just you
even be
wait.
the best Kirby game.
Kirby
But
Planet Robot
it doesn't have mechs.
Mech hype.
Just you wait, James. There will be a mech in the game.
Kirby
Just
meets
hidden
Gurren
in the
Lagann
background.
every day.
10 out of 10.
10 out of
Best
10.
game ever made. Pokken Tournament DX. This one's actually coming out pretty soon in September 22nd.
Yep.
And they a week before E3 they made the big announcement, and I put big in air quotes that they're bringing the Wii U game to the Switch with additional features. And then they had their tournament, which was pretty great in terms of how competitive it got.
My favorite thing about that was the winner was the professional player. Like, he just showed up to E3, a professional player, just to play Pokken Tournament and win, basically. And he won.
Yeah, he teamed up with like MatPat or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like they had been training. I don't know. Like I don't understand it. But hey,
Yeah.
I think didn't he get like owned by the developer or something like that?
I thought that was with
playing, like-
ARMS.
Well, that happened too. I think it happened both times.
Okay.
Definitely have
Like
arms.
he yeah, we'll get to that. He played with like Toxicroak in the tournament, and he
the
just
little
like was
Krogan.
mocking. Oh, Krogan, not Toxicroak.
I
excuse
wish
me.
it was Toxic Croak.
Yeah. Anyway, that game's coming out. I mean, we've talked about this already, but we'll look forward to September 22nd, the last day of summer, and that should be great. So there's also a new core RPG Pokemon title coming for Switch, and they said it should be out in a year or so.
Yep.
This
Huzzah.
is huge.
Yeah, it's
Like,
enormous.
Huge. I mean, obviously this is the first mainline Pokemon title that's going to be on a home console.
Yep.
Yep.
It just baffles my mind. But it's time
If you think it's hard-
with this portable Switch. It's great.
If you think it's hard to find a Switch now,
Hey, just wait.
Yeah.
when Pokemon comes out, it might be really hard.
I mean, we're right now we're just like ticking the boxes. It's like, okay, we got Monster Hunter coming out in Japan on Switch. Yep. Okay, we got Pokemon coming on Switch. Yep. Let's see. We need Animal Crossing. That'd be a good one. Yep. We got Mario, Zelda,
Well-
Metroid. It's like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Animal Crossing hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, that was a shame. I was really sad that
Well,
they didn't
we'll
announce
talk about that later.
it. Yeah, we will.
But did I say Animal Crossing was
Yeah.
coming?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. Sorry, excuse me.
That's okay.
I meant to say that it should be coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the fact that Pokemon is coming is just, a big step for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. And here's hoping that it's a new generation and not just some, I don't know. Well, it could be a remake. That's fine. But let's hope it's not a port. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
and
they actually develop for the Switch in mind instead of like 3DS.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, they've already started making strides towards that with Sun and Moon, in a sense. You know, like Sun and Moon doesn't use the touch screen as much as past Pokemon games had. You know, like a lot of it was just on the main screen. They didn't bother with the 3D abilities. So, I mean, I'm certain that they had already been planning the Switch release from the development of Sun and Moon. So
yeah, I mean, we even talked about how we could see it like it slowly turning to the Switch.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in our review or something like that. So yeah, I totally see what you're saying.
And then I also just want to say that Skylar and I were talking before, and they didn't need to show us anything for this game to make us excited for it. You know, the producer or director, I can't remember exactly which one came out. He just was like, "Oh yeah, it's coming," and we were all like, "What?" Okay,
I'm drawing the new Pokemon right now. I can't show you, but
that's all I needed to do.
I almost thought he was in his like pajamas, you know. He just decided not to dress up for work, and he comes in, "Hey, oh yeah, we need to film you real quick." "Oh, can't it wait, guys? I'm trying the new Pokemon." No, we gotta do it now. "Okay, fine. I'm not leaving my desk. I'm staying here." Okay, fine. It's just say the new Pokemon game's coming out. There's a new Pokemon game coming out for the Switch? All right, that's the first I've heard of it. No,
as he's playing on the Switch.
No, he's like drawing the new Pokemon, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's huge, and I can't wait to play it, and I'm sure the Switches are going to be, like Skylar says, Switch is going to be ridiculously hard to find.
Oh yeah. Well,
so get one now.
Okay.
If you can.
If you can.
I mean,
when Splatoon 2 hits, it's going to be ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
And then Super Mario Odyssey, that's going to be ridiculous. So.
Oh my gosh, man. There's so many good games coming out.
Picture this. Screen goes black. Well, okay, the Switch logo comes on, screen goes black. Slowly pan out. Kind of looks like there's stars. Kind of cloudy. And it's blue light. Continues to pan out. And you start to kind of see an image. And then the music starts playing. And then you see this. It's a Screw Attack image, isn't it? Or is that the Samus image?
It's a Samus logo. Yeah.
There you go. The Samus logo comes out, and immediately fans start freaking out. Some fans are like, "Wait, we don't know yet." And then the 4 comes out, and then everyone freaks out and realizes that it's Metroid Prime 4 now in development for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Nintendo sits on it for 3 seconds, moves on to Yoshi.
Then it moves on. It's like, wait, we need to breathe.
You can't do this to us.
We gotta take a break.
I need time to digest this.
This is when the puppets should have come out and started dancing.
Yep.
This is where we should have had the, Miyamoto doing the worm or something. Like, come on, give us a break.
I mean, this reveal was so incredible to me. I was watching. I had my computer hooked up to my TV in my room and everything, and I heard the static noise, and I stood up from my chair, and I was like, crap, I can't stand up. I'm doing a live blog of this whole freaking event. But I started shaking uncontrollably and running around my room. I was so thrilled. I mean, it was such a huge announcement. And it was 20 seconds long or less even?
Less than that.
I was so thrilled. I have been wanting a 3D Metroid game since Prime 3 came out. And Nintendo's like, hey, heard you like the Metroids. Have one.
And other M don't count.
Yeah, exactly. It was okay, I guess. I mean, I had fun playing it, but the story was awful. But we can do our Metroid Other M review another day. We keep talking about that. Anyway.
Yeah, I really want to do it. got some new insights and new thoughts about it after I've been just so hyped for this game that I've just been reading a lot of Metroid lore and I watched like the cutscenes for Metroid Other M, and I was like pointing out that's stupid. I was like, oh, okay, now I understand that a lot more.
Yeah. Welcome to the Metroid fan base, James.
Yeah, I am now a Metroid fan.
So weird.
I played Metroid Prime, the first one, but anyway.
They finally came out with another Prime game after they already, took out, decannoned the whole trilogy. So, I mean, that's nice.
That doesn't. What he said doesn't count.
It doesn't.
He's just upset that the series he didn't work on is gaining so much fame and gained so much fame and popularity. And he's like, no, only the stuff I work on is canon.
Is it
okay, it's Sakamoto.
No, Sakamoto was there during the Prime trilogy.
No, he wasn't. He
wasn't. Moved
it wasn't
to
his
Texas
project
to help him with it.
It wasn't Sakamoto's project. It was Tanabe's project with Retro. So yeah, he was like, no, this is not my vision of what Samus is.
Yeah, but my vision, Samus is a weak woman.
Apparently. Gosh. So thinking about what Metroid Prime 4 is, and we'll have another episode down the line of what it could be, but do you really think they could have Phazon and the and Metroid Prime Metroid Prime 4?
I don't know. And I just want to real quick say that I looked up Yoshio Sakamoto real quick, and he was only given special thanks in Metroid Prime and wasn't even mentioned in 2 or 3.
Okay.
So, just so you know.
So he kind of, he was
something. He was a co-creator of the series.
Okay.
And wrote Super Metroid story, Fusion story, Zero Mission story, and Other M story. So
yeah. But Super Metroid's pretty good though. It's a good one.
Yeah.
No. Don't get me wrong. He's had some great games, and I thought Fusion was good too. It's just something happened.
Yeah.
And he's a little I think he was a little upset when Metroid Prime Trilogy was doing so well, and his Other M wasn't, hitting with the fans too well. Anyway,
going back to your whole Phazon thing and where it fits in the story. So we know that the home planet was destroyed for the Phazon in Prime 3. Spoiler alert, if you haven't played those games. But then again, they've been out for so long.
Crap. Yeah, no, that's fine.
But they did set up a couple of things at the end of Prime 3 and at the end of Federation Force where they could go off on.
Yes, they did.
And I read an interview.
Might say something. They
sorry,
only
what?
revolve. Do you mind if I say something real quick? They only revolve around the Metroid, which and one of the hunters,
Sylix.
Yeah, Sylix.
Right. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say that or not. But okay, Sylix. I guess it doesn't matter because the game's been out for a while. Yeah. So you have those two things that are definitely be connected in some way. But how does this connect besides him being a hunter to Metroid Prime? Will Metroid Prime be in it, or the Phazon's supposed to be destroyed, like David said? Anyway, okay, sorry. That was a quick thought.
It seems to be by this point with the Prime series, they're just referring to the 3D Metroid model. At this point,
which I'm fine with that.
Because they did it with Metroid Prime on the DS. They've done it with Prime Federation Force, and they might do it with this game. I actually would be way more happy if they decided to leave the actual Metroid Prime story line and do something else with Samus, then have Metroid Prime be the boss again. Have Dark Samus be the boss.
Yeah, that'd be kind of upsetting. Let that story go to rest. But I'm fine with them having the 3D games as Metroid Prime.
I think that could be good, and it's a differentiation for the series. Mm-hmm. So,
sorry, David, you were going to say something.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just going on the story. Tanabe told IGN back in 2015 what he wanted in a Prime sequel when he was trying to figure out and getting it to work. He said, "There is still more I want to build around the story of Sylix and Samus. There is something going on between them, and I want to make a game that touches on it." He also added that in that eventual game between Sylix and Samus that might get made, that I want to involve the Galactic Federation as well. So it's unclear if that's going to be the actual story of Prime 4, but this is Tamabe back in 2015 when he was talking about making a new Prime game. So if he is making it based around that we can probably expect that it's going to be about Sylix and Samus. Maybe they find another world that's been infected by Phazon that has evolved some way that, it wasn't destroyed when the home planet of Phazon was destroyed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that happening. But it would be nice for them to change it, though. Have there be a new threat.
I agree. We got a ton of Phazon exploration in Prime 3.
Right.
There's no real need to go back to it.
Right, there really isn't a real need. But exploring character backstory or relationship that Samus has with other bounty hunters, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they could actually, if they wanted to, I think they could have some voice acting in it. Just, not as much as Other M.
Well, Metroid Prime 3 did it perfect when she had the interaction with the other hunters.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was perfect. Got Rundus in there, Gandrea, and Gore. All three of them.
Right.
I
think that's where the story will go. And with Federation Force, I think that was just a kind of a introduction to how the military works, and kind of just setting that basis, and also trying to do a little side project, I guess. But in a way, it establishes more lore, and then builds hype for this next game. So
yeah. Wikitroid, the Metroid Wikia, they made some pretty bold stances here with Sylix in the first freaking paragraph. Freaking spoiler alert. They're saying that he appeared in the special ending of Prime 3 Corruption, and something happens in Federation Force. I don't want to say what, but both of which are meant to set up a fourth Metroid Prime game involving Sylix as the main antagonist. That is a bold statement and
that is a very bold statement.
Yeah, so I don't think they should be saying that because we don't know that for sure. Anyway.
We really don't. He could be a antagonist, or he could actually end up helping Samus in a sense. We don't even know. Yeah. You just can't really say that yet. But I guess people are just so excited that.
Well, they are thinking. This is just kind of going into a little bit of the lore because I love Metroid so much. But we've never seen Sylix's face, but we do know that he has stolen Federation gear and wears a power suit of some kind. So
he's got to be from the Federation.
Human. Yeah, that he's from the Federation and is human. But he just hates the Federation so much and stuff. But anyway.
Personally, I think that he must have had some sort of relationship with Samus. I'm not saying sexual relationships or anything like that, but maybe they were friends or maybe they were rivals when Samus was kind of working for the Federation. I don't know. Maybe that could be where the relationship lies. But who knows? He could be a robot for all we know.
Yeah, so I agree. Anyway, I'm super excited for Metroid Prime 4, and if people don't buy it, I'm going to be really upset at them.
Yeah. If it's a bad game, okay, fine, don't buy it. But if it's a good game, please.
Please?
It's really, I promise to be good. Okay.
I'll get it either way.
Well, real quick, actually, Skylar, you mentioned that you weren't hyped for this game, though, yet.
All we got was a logo.
Do you want to explain? Yeah, do you want to explain explain that a little bit?
I hesitate to get on hype trains early. So I just seeing a logo doesn't get me super hyped. I want to see actual footage. I want to see some gameplay. Then I'll be like, okay, cool, that's awesome. That looks like fun. But I still want to wait a little bit. I can't get on the hype train yet. It's too early.
I guess for me, it's a logo. Just a logo is enough. Because unlike David, I haven't been a fan of the series for forever. It scared me as a child, but I understand that this means so much that we have this game that we haven't heard about for forever, and they haven't forgotten about it. Honestly, it just speaks a lot just to have the logo.
Yeah.
And if it's anything like the other three, I mean, for me, it's reason enough to be hyped. But at the same time, I understand where you're coming from. No gameplay. Who's to say it's not another M?
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm saying. Like, they have had other Metroid games. They just haven't been what people wanted. That's the thing. They haven't forgotten about Metroid. They've made games about Metroid. It's just not what people have wanted yet. And so with the Metroid Prime 4 logo,
even other M, like what? That was how many years ago? 7 years ago?
No, I think it was a little bit sooner than that. Might have been like. How long is it for?
It wasn't 2010.
It was 2010. It was August 31st, 2010.
So 7 years ago.
So okay, yeah. But yeah, and then they had.
So
they even had the Prime logo with Federation Force. So, and that came out like last year. It's not.
No, that did. So 6 years.
So
anyway, I'll stop talking.
1.5 years, but nobody wanted that game. So, I mean, they haven't forgotten about Metroid, per se.
Well, I don't think people realize that. I mean, personally, I didn't think that they had forgotten about Metroid, because I don't know. I don't think Nintendo thinks that way. But some fans did think that. They thought that Metroid was kind of put aside, kind of like F-Zero at this point. But obviously, Metroid's had a little more love than F-Zero.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry to bring that up, but
they've had to cut.
They were worried. They were worried.
They've had a lot more games than F-Zero games so far, and they even got They got a spin-off last year.
This is true.
So it's not like people they have not forgotten Metroid. They just haven't been doing what people want Metroid to be. They haven't been making the game people want. That's the problem. So nobody wanted
I think
to.
in the consumer's eyes, like they still had forgotten Metroid.
Maybe into some consumers' eyes, but I don't see it that way, and I'm definitely a consumer.
No, you are. You are a consumer.
So
so that's your point of view.
And the Metroid
point of view
Prime Federation Force, they even had a Prime logo with that too. What I'm saying is, I'm not jumping on the hype train until I see some gameplay.
Which is fair. Fair enough.
So yes, I'm excited. They announced the Metroid Prime. I just want to see what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to see what it is.
Hey everybody, it's your friend David here. I'm just hopping in the middle of the episode again, even though I know it's going on long, to just give you a few announcements and let you know what's going on. Thanks again real quick for listening to this episode of the Retro Boys podcast. We know it's long, but when you have a fantastic E3 like Nintendo had this year, there's a lot to talk about, and we decided to talk about as much of it as we could. So this episode's going to be quite a bit longer than our normal episodes, but don't worry, we'll go back to our regular length after this episode. We wanted to remind you to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Nintensity. I know we are talking about this a lot, but Patreon helps support the show and helps make this show happen. If you choose to support us, $1 a month will get you access to some of the behind-the-scenes features of what we do to make this podcast happen, and you'll be able to get the cool Patreon role on our Discord server where you'll have a cool colored username and be able to kind of be in charge of be in charge is a really bad way of saying that, but you'd rather have a greater presence on the server, and you'll have access to our Patreon chat where we'll discuss things that are going to happen with the show and with the website and all that other stuff. We also want to let you know that these episodes are going up early every week. I can't guarantee exactly when the episodes will go up because sometimes we record later in the week than usual, but it should be around Friday or Saturday or even Sunday morning, and then the rest of the episode goes live to everybody else on the Monday morning following that. Hopefully we'll be able to keep up that schedule. No promises yet, but we'll do our best to keep that up. Again, you can check out Patreon at patreon.com/Nintensity, and you'll be able to find all of the cool things that you can get by just heading over to that page. And there are already some episodes already published, so you can get access to those right away. Wanted to remind you to check out our website at Nintensity.com, where we're posting news about Nintendo and some opinion articles. Cole, who's been on the show before, wrote an article on what Nintendo did right with Splatoon and what we're hoping that they'll do right with Splatoon 2 is. It's a pretty good article and all that. And James wrote a review on Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, so be sure you give that a read as well. I don't really have much else to say this time. Just be sure to follow us on Twitter at virtual_boys. That's the podcast handle. And then you can follow us on Intensity for the stream of news so that you're always up to date on what's going on. We have a Facebook account, of course, as well as Google+, even though we don't really have much of a following on the Google+ account. So be sure you support us by checking those social media accounts out. There really isn't much else for me to say. If you like this episode and have questions for us, tweet at us with #virtualcast. I've checked and that hashtag has not been taken, so we are going to use it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for what I've got to say. I'll let you get back to this long, awesome episode of E3. Enjoy the conversation, and we'll catch you next time, I guess.
So, like we mentioned, we had to take a breath there, but nope, they decided just to go straight on through and talk about a Yoshi game, but it looks great, in the sense that it looks really nice graphics wise.
It looks
Yoshi
like a
for Nintendo Switch.
combination.
It's going to be coming out in 2018, and like David said, it looks like a combination of certain styles. Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like Yoshi's Woolly World in a sense with the backgrounds, at least where it's got the paper feel instead of a yarn feel. And then it looks a lot like that new Yoshi's Island that came out on the 3DS, where it's got the really nice looking Yoshi. And it looks like a storybook, like they're, taking more of that Yoshi's story appeal with these games. And I think it looks absolutely lovely. Yeah. I'm excited to give it a try.
There was one part where he's running around a kitchen. I thought that was adorable. So I think the Yoshi's still made of yarn, isn't he?
Well, I don't know, because if you look closely, it almost looks like styrofoam. I don't know. It's hard to say what he's made out of.
Is this Goodfield's project?
I don't know, man.
I know it's announced that.
I know it's running on Unreal Engine 4, but that's all I know. Or Unreal Engine, maybe not 4. I don't know.
Because it looks like he's made of some kind of material, though, in this shot.
Yeah.
That's
right.
No, he does. That's what I thought. Maybe it was styrofoam.
Maybe it's styrofoam or something. But the fact of the matter is, they're going for still the same, in a tiny Yoshi in an open world environment, almost kind of feel. With this game.
It kind of looks like they're in a room, or something.
Yeah, it's some little toy Yoshi, Toy Story style, running around.
Yeah.
Which is adorable.
It's so adorable. I feel like Yoshi and Kirby tend to have, Yoshi, I think, tend to have these aesthetically pleasing and experimental games,
Yeah.
Obviously, Kirby has some of that too, but Kirby tends to go on to these really experimental gameplay things and everything, where Yoshi tends to stick to the same kind of, platforming and egg throwing kind of mechanic.
Yeah.
But recently, it's just been taking a lot of these really gorgeous choices in art style.
Yeah, definitely. The reason I ask if it's a good field game, because this seems like the kind of project they would do, with this art style. They did it with Wario Land Shake It. They did it with Kirby Epic Yarn. Now they're doing it with Yoshi. So they like to do extremely beautiful different styles of art and then run with it. The games stick out for it. So
yes, it is good feel. Just FYI.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Skylar was right on the money.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It really does. Although I am surprised it's coming out. I don't know. I guess I'm surprised it's coming out in 2018 and not later this year or something like that. But I imagine it'll be early 2018 when it comes out, because a lot of it looks fairly close to being finished. I mean, they were playing it at the Treehouse.
Right.
Yeah.
See, my reasoning is they probably don't want to crowd the schedule for the end of the year more than they already have.
A good point.
They have a ton of games coming out this year, which is awesome. Love it. But they want to share some love for next year too, and I completely understand. Yoshi running into Odyssey. I don't know.
Yeah, that wouldn't work out very well.
Yeah.
Guys, this Yoshi
People would
game
buy
came out
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Oh, but look at this cute Yoshi. Odyssey.
Odyssey.
You can ride a freaking lion. I'm just kidding.
So another game that was announced that will be coming out this year is going to be Fire Emblem Warriors. We talked a little bit about this in our mini episode.
Right.
But David, we kind of want to hear what your thoughts on the Fire Emblem Warriors are.
We were talking about it in the Discord chat a little bit around the time of this announcement, or I guess trailer and stuff. I don't know if I'll get this game. Like, it looks fun. It looks great, but I have so much left I have to do in Hyrule Warriors. Like, this is just going to add a huge amount of stuff to my to-do list, and I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I'm with you, David. If I see something like in the coming months that is going to entice me, it has to be like based on like the story or the characters they have in it. But I'm not gonna 100% this game. I'm not gonna complete this game with every character. There's just no way. It's just such a big game, and the gameplay just gets boring and repetitive after a while.
Yeah. I will say that Fire Emblem Warriors makes more sense in my mind than Hyrule Warriors, just based off of, like, you know, who's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Zelda Warriors. I love Hyrule Warriors. I think it's a fun title. It's a great beat 'em up if you just want something random to do while you're watching TV or something, but I don't know. I don't feel like I need another Warriors game.
They've just been pumping them out like crazy.
Yeah.
No, they're just all copy paste.
Yeah,
They just have to change the models.
Exactly. They just change the art style. It's all copy paste. I'm not excited for Fire Emblem Warriors. They don't have any characters I care about in Fire Emblem Warriors. They have not overstepped the bounds of the first game and Fates and Awakening. And there are so many other heroes, and how many sword characters are they really going to put in? If they said they're done putting in sword characters, then I'm not buying this game. Because Ike's not in it. But like it's ridiculous. And not only that, the gameplay looks extremely repetitive, and like David has also said, I already have Hyrule Warriors. Once you play one Warriors game, you kind of play them all.
Yep. I mean, I've got Warriors on my Wii U and on my 3DS. I'm good.
Yeah, this is the only game out of the list I didn't pre-order for this year. For that very reason. Like, Fire Emblem Warriors does not look like a new experience to me. It does not look like fun, and the voice acting was atrocious from the two main characters.
From those,
yeah,
the ones that are made by Team Ninja is just I'm not feeling
incredibly
it.
cringe,
and it's really bad, like ear bleedingly. So
exactly.
But the characters they had, you know, Corrin and Ryoma, they had great voice acting. But it's just those fanfic characters. So bad.
I will fight anyone. Chrom is not interesting. Chrom is not an interesting character. I don't know who really. Obviously, that lady in the direct really liked Chrom. I will fight. There are way more interesting Fire Emblem characters than Chrom any day of the week.
I would not want to get into a fight with you about this. I mean, I wouldn't, because I totally agree with you. But it's just. I know I would lose if I tried, because it's so obvious that he's just this bland character.
Chrom is bland.
Anyway.
Xander's bland. Corrin's all right, I guess.
I think Lucina's more of a character than Chrom.
Well, yeah, definitely. Lucina's also in Smash Brothers, but I don't know how much of the Smash roster they want to include in this game.
Good.
Because the only person they have is Marth, and I hate Marth's game. I don't think it's a good Fire Emblem game.
Yeah,
but they keep seeming
for me. Okay.
Sorry, they keep seeming to drag these people in from the first Fire Emblem game, even though like nobody in the United States has played this game, and the game is so outdated and like there's no character development.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Nintendo, make an echoes of the first game, just so we can see what it was meant to be in its full glory.
They already did. It's on the DS. It's called Shadow Dragon. It's garbage.
All right.
I don't think they're.
Yeah. For me, I need to see more characters before I can say I'm going to get this game. If none of the characters interest me, and I can't see any like merit to completing the game, even just with one character, I'm I'm not going to pick it up. I'm sorry. It's just me. However, I do think Fire Emblem series the franchise does fit the Dynasty Warriors theme a little more. Not necessarily the hack and slash, but just the overall war.
Yeah,
theme,
I agree. It does. Definitely fits the Dynasty Warriors theme. I just want more interesting characters in there. I guarantee the axe user they're going to put in is Camilla, and I guarantee the mage they're going to put in is Tharja. It's definitely going to be Tharja and definitely going to be Camilla. There's no other way I can see it. So
that is right there. You already know that characters that are from Fates and Awakening are more going to be in there.
Exactly.
So
I think that's what they're going to focus on. They're going to focus on Fates and Awakening because that seems to be where all the main fan base is now. It's just through the Fates and Awakening line, which there are some amazing characters outside of those two games that will never probably see the light of day, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, I'd be happy if they tried to throw in some of the Echo's character, but they probably won't. Anyway,
they maybe will.
Sorry,
just to promote.
Oh, that'd be great. As long as it's not Alm or Celica. Great characters. It's just they're sword fighters, and I guess Celica uses some magic too.
Yeah.
But, okay, so they showed off a little bit of Skyrim that they had already showed off at the Bethesda conference, but either way, they showed off some more in the Zelda DLC, but they still don't have a release date. That's like the one thing I wanted to see at E3 about Skyrim, and the fact that they have some of the DLC or the Breath of the Wild stuff in it. I guess it's cool.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know when it's coming out. We still don't have a date, and for all we know, it's coming out in winter, and it may be the last game that's coming out this year.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with you, James. When I watched the conference and didn't see a date for it, I was like, "What? Really? Like, you don't have a date for this game?"
So silly.
Oddly enough, though, it's kind of funny because I had pre-ordered this game. Amazon sent me a little email saying like September 22nd for Skyrim or whatever, and then they
wait, what?
Then they retracted their statement. So and they changed it back to December 29th. So I don't know if Amazon was just acting up or what, but it was kind of funny.
That is pretty funny.
But why wouldn't you have a release date for this game? Like, what's taking it so long?
I don't know. I heard that Nintendo is actually the one developing it. Is that producing it?
They might
actually,
be. They might be producing it, meaning funding the project. So I'm not sure.
Which, either way, I think is kind of ridiculous, but whatever.
It's like anything to get Skyrim on our Switch.
I guess. It's like, geez, Bethesda. Jeez. Like, you really gotta be this.
He's got money coming out of his pocket as he's talking. He's like, we were so happy.
We are so glad
Nintendo.
to be able to work with Nintendo now.
It's like they pay us so well. I mean, shoot. We don't need to make another Skyrim.
There was more, right? There was more Zelda news after that. We had actually some footage of the DLC Pack 1. David, what did you think of the Pack 1?
Of DLC for Zelda?
Zelda.
I'm excited to give up on my current naked run and play it with hard mode enabled.
Oh, wow. I see. I guess I'm not that hardcore, but
I am so excited for this hard mode. I thought it was the coolest thing when they showed the golden Lionel. Like, that was like, oh man, bring it, Nintendo, I'll do it.
I think the coolest thing for me was seeing how the Trial of the Sword works.
Oh yeah,
I think that was wow.
The Trial of the Sword looks so much fun. Looks like
really
does.
It feels like Eventide Island, except layers.
I'm going to need to go and sell a bunch of my heart containers on my main file just so I can make it a little bit more of a challenge, because going at it with 27 hearts might be a little bit too much for me.
Try it in hard mode and see.
I'll just straight up do it in hard mode. I don't know. I just want my main file to be as 100% complete as it can be, you know? So I want to do it for that as well. But yeah, I love the details that they've given for this DLC pack. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
But there aren't any for pack 2 except for the fact that it's going to evolve the champions in some way.
It feels like an expansion to the story, honestly. Like
which actually would be fine. I'm fine with that. But why no information?
I don't know. Rivali's got some cool stuff. Like, it looks like he's going to play a big part in the DLC for this part of the story. I mean, it's called Ballad of the Champions, or Champions Ballad. I always get that mixed up. But,
wait, Rivali?
Or not Rivali.
Okay. I was like, wait, you know something?
Cass.
Cass. Oh, yes,
Cass was like, check out this song, Link. I mean, he doesn't say it like that, but he's gonna play a big role, I think. Some people that I've seen, just online, speculate that it could possibly be a story that takes place back in the past, where you're Link and you take out hordes of enemies or something and learn more about the champions. Or I've wondered if maybe you get to play as the champions back in the past.
You have to buy the Amiibo, David. You buy the Amiibo.
That'd be terrible.
And then you can play as the champions.
Crap.
Luckily I got Rivali's and that's all I need. No, I'm just...
I mean, you got Falco, Derek, Gerudo, and Mipha.
Derek! Mipha. Mipha, you're my woman.
Mipha, Gerudo.
I'm just kidding.
Mipha, Gerudo.
I don't know. There's a lot to speculate on it.
We'll have to speculation maybe some other time, but
yeah.
I don't know. Could we be playing as the champions? Who knows?
External DLC, baby.
I pray that it has little to do with the Amiibos.
I'm just joking though. Nintendo isn't that corrupted that they would do that. Now, if this was Capcom, on the other hand, this is something they would totally do.
Yeah.
Let's see about that point.
So, we'll see. Holiday 2017. It's supposed to come out. We have all these games that don't have technically release dates, and we're supposed to see more of them. So, it sounds like we're going to have another Direct, like, coming up maybe before Mario Odyssey releases or after it releases.
Yeah.
But we shall see. The next game they showed off was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and that's coming out August 29th.
Wow.
The game that nobody wanted to be real, but now everybody wants because it actually looks fun.
Yeah. The worst best kept secret.
Yep.
I don't know. It looks like really fun combat. I think it'll be a fun game. I don't know if it'll be a huge hit, but it'll be fun.
It's one of those crossovers that ends up playing like neither game. So,
yeah.
Mario plus Rabbids, but it plays like XCOM. You got Fire Emblem plus Shin Megami Tensei that plays like Persona.
Yeah.
It's just not going to play like either of these two games, but they're both going to be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to Ubisoft for, taking the initiative and creating this game that is not a platform game. Because Miyamoto was like, hey, don't make a game where Mario just jumps on things. Be creative.
Yeah.
I got you. Have you ever heard of XCOM?
No.
Wait, you serious?
Yeah,
and also,
but anyway,
and kudos to Nintendo for giving one of their biggest IPs to another studio outside of their control.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They had to do it. Yeah. Well, they had a lot of support, from what I can tell, from Nintendo. They had a lot of back and forth.
Oh,
which
I just love how the developer guy or the producer, whatever his name is, just
this was the
crying.
Italy branch of Ubisoft. Correct.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, it was Ubisoft Milan, I think, is what they call them.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still definitely Ubisoft, but it's a separate division from the French one. From what can I tell? What I can tell.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Miyamoto was like, it definitely feels European.
So you know what?
But I think you're like
Mario's Italian. You're Italian. Perfect.
I'm Italian.
Bada bing.
It comes full circle.
Bada bing, bada boom. Mario v. Rab and Mario plus Rabbids.
So we're looking to cover that game when it comes out August 29th. They also had the big showing of Rocket League.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of just they showed like a little snippet at the very beginning. It's like, wait, was that Rocket League? Did I just see Rocket League?
I was like, wait, Rocket League? just squinting at the screen.
Yeah. That has to be like an error or something, right? Am I right? And then they announce it. They're like, and we're gonna have crossplay. We're gonna have all these
that's
features.
huge.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is so big. And Rocket League is this big, like, I don't know if you call it cult classic, but it's definitely a popular game.
Oh, it's a little more than a cult classic by this point. It's
big.
It's phenomenal. I was like, shut up and take my money. I'll play some Rocket League.
I can't throw it at the screen enough.
Yeah, and it comes with every
my life
mode.
savings.
They didn't make any compromises with the Switch version. It's exactly like the other ones. It has everything else, and apparently has some exclusives, like some Mario-themed carts and what have you. So it's great.
Wow,
they said
glad
later that
a third part. Oh, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick that they said that Nintendo actually approached them and said, "Yo, come put Rocket League on the Switch. We'll help you out." And it was cool.
That's the initiative we want. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish all third-party developers could just be like that, put the whole game in and not take any features out, even though
looking
they're
at
not
you,
sure the Switch
FIFA 18.
Well.
FIFA 18.
I don't even play those games, and I feel bad for those fans. But either way, Rocket League, great showing, guys.
10 out of 10.
We don't know when it's coming out, except for this year holiday, so look forward to that. And then we have the biggest game of E3. It was their highlight with the big booth and the demos and the Odyssey vehicle.
The new
Super
Donk
Mario
City.
Odyssey. In New Donk City. It was all in New Donk City. I wish I could have been there. Super Mario Odyssey coming out October 27th. That was a big surprise for me. I expected this to be November game, maybe December. Nope, October 27th. Pretty close to my birthday.
Before Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. It's like, we're basically, just a few, little tweaks here and there, and we're done with this game.
GOTY.
Let's put it out there.
GOTY. I'm just kidding. my personal favorite game.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard, Skylar. I mean, I will look at this as objectively as I can to determine what the game of the year is going to be between Breath of the Wild and Mario. What about other games? They don't matter right now.
There's nothing else that matters.
There's nothing else.
Nintendo back, baby.
Nintendo stole the show this year. You guys can go step down.
Man. Okay, so we are definitely have a lot of we've taken a lot of time already. Let's try to keep our thoughts on Odyssey somewhat brief, and maybe we can have a bigger episode on it later. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was just going to say we should have a really big episode about Mario Odyssey as we get closer to the release.
Okay.
But I do want to say the trailer was fantastic. I saw the dinosaur and I was like, what? What is this? What is this supposed to be? And then boom, he's wearing Mario's hat.
I was like, there's no way this could be Monster Hunter. This does not look like a Monster Hunter monster.
It's not imaginative enough. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it looks too like a dinosaur. Apparently, the dinosaurs didn't look like that. But anyway,
this trailer was the first appearance that we got of the game's main capture mechanic, and we got to see Pauline, an awesome character that's finally making a good comeback.
I don't know if awesome is the right word.
Well, she's a beloved character. She's a character that we've been worried about.
Beloved, maybe not. She was in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, but I would say a neglected character that finally.
Yeah, neglected's probably a better word, but we've been worried about her. What has she been up to? Did Donkey Kong take her away again? No, she's mayor of New Donk City, son.
So what happened to Waluigi? Why isn't he here? You get hurt in.
I don't know.
Where's Waluigi?
Where's Waluigi?
Okay, well, I don't think there's anything like this whole
Yeah, I just have to say real quick that this song in the trailer is the only thing that was able to shake the ARMS theme song out of my head for a while.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you had the ARMS theme song stuck in your head?
Yeah, I couldn't get it out. It's so catchy.
Really?
Oh,
dude, it is so catchy. Yeah. It is. Oh man.
Well, I
don't know,
must
I get
not
weird
have been
stuff stuck in my
listening to the same stuff.
No, dude, that's not weird stuff. That's totally makes sense that you get that stuck in your head, David.
I must have been listening to a different ARMS theme song than you guys.
Okay.
Well, I guess different tastes. But anyway, I totally agree with you that jazzy theme. Oh man, it's so great,
so fresh. Oh my gosh,
it's so fresh. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah. And when in the Treehouse presentation, they started off and there was like no music, and they were in the city. I was like, oh no, this is another like ambience thing like they had with Zelda, which worked a lot with Breath of the Wild. Don't get me wrong, but I was kind of worried because Mario just always has such good music, and then they actually go into the city, and then there's the music. It's like yes,
it's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we'll have to talk about this game at length another time because there's so much to talk about.
We really do. Like Skylar said, this could be the game of the year.
Yeah.
And then they ended their presentation, and they come back and they showed a little of Mario Odyssey. But then they had Reggie on, and they talked to Reggie, and they teased a big reveal. And that reveal was Metroid Samus Returns. Now,
I wanted a 2D Metroid game.
Boom.
Well, there you go.
I was like,
why not both?
¿Por qué no los dos? I was like, dude, I'll buy both. I'll take both. I'll take all the Metroid.
I'll take both. 2D, 3D Metroid, they're both good.
Give me all the Metroid.
Samus Returns is a remake of the Game Boy. Is Game Boy Color or Game Boy? No, it's Game Boy
game. Yeah.
Game Boy. Yeah.
Game Boy game. And not a whole lot of people have played this game. It is a rather hard game, and maybe due to the software limitations of the time, or the hardware limitations. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, but it was the first game to feature a save, though.
That's nice.
There was a save system in it, so
nice.
I have never gotten a chance to play it, and I'm excited to play this total remake.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic.
It's on the same.
Not just from graphically speaking, it just looks great, like gameplay wise.
Yeah, the original Metroid 2: Return of Samus was along the same lines of Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, where they both came out at the same time. They both were released about the same time on the NES as well, and they were both put on the Game Boy. They both revamped the series, made them a little bit better. So they're better than the original games, and they've improved the gameplay and stuff. Huge steps for both series, actually. So Metroid 2 it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I am stoked because, like I said, never played this, and it's going to be great to see the Metroid's like evolution, or not the evolution, but the different stages of the Metroid. And I am thrilled to get down and play this because I haven't had too much experience with 2D Metroids, to be honest.
They're good.
I mean, I've heard so many people say Super Metroid is their favorite game, and I've just always been afraid because I'm such a noob at these games. I always get wrecked. So I feel like this would be a great start. Can I say that some of the mechanics remind me a lot of Other M, but they were like the good parts. Like that counter, that totally reminds me of the M. And then these like more cinematic things that are going on in like boss battles and attacks. I love it. I think they're great additions.
See, that was the part I was worried about, is the cinematic stuff. Just because the gameplay in Metroid is so like the 2D ones are so fast and so shoot everything. Like I wonder how much time they're going to take out and do the cinematic stuff when you could be like gunning the guy down or something. But it does look cool, spectacally.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that is something to be considered, or to consider. Yeah, is that. Totally.
Because that's why people like to play the 2D Metroid games. You just like burst through it.
Because you just shoot
super fast.
True.
I wonder if speedrunners actually want to even enter any of these animations. For this game, because since Metroid is extremely speedrun, community driven, so
I wonder if you can avoid those animations if you just don't counter.
Yeah,
maybe. But I'm glad it kind of like opens up Samus's potential of how she can fight. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
One more thing I was going to say about this is that there's a lot of sounds from Prime, like the Prime trilogy, that I think it really fits, and I'm okay if they like keep that going forward. Just the jingles and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm really stoked for that, and we can expect to see that September 15th. I'm sure David is just as hyped as I am. Well, probably more hyped than I am. But anyway, another game that I don't know. Out of the three of us, I think we may all be equally hyped because this is definitely dear and near to our childhood. Is Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions? That's coming out October 6th.
You will be able to play the entire Mario and Luigi series on your 3DS.
On one console.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic.
It's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And Superstar Saga is considered by a lot of people to be the best of the series. I mean, maybe not necessarily like gameplay at some points. They've improved a lot of things over time, but I love this game to death. I have played through it, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 times, which is a lot for a Game Boy Advance game for me. So I am incredibly excited for this game, and I think it's going to be a fantastic addition to the 3DS library. And Bowser's Minions looks to be quite a bit of fun. Like, you get to be Bowser's lead Goomba and go find him. So
yeah, you can be a Boo, a Goomba, a Shy Guy. So many options that you can do with that.
Yep. You gotta get that Cap and Koopa amiibo or that Cap and Goomba amiibo. That will be
even though they look just like regular Koopas and Goombas.
They have a pennant on their head.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I haven't actually played any of the other Saga games. I know, shocking. Partners in Time I heard was good, but I just, I saw the babies and I just kind of turned me off. Sorry, I know I'm such a teenager.
I didn't have a DS for the longest time. I wanted it and I saw it all over the place, but I didn't get a DS until near the end of the DS's life cycle. So I never managed to get that game that way. So, but that's me. I know Skylar's played it.
Yeah, I've played each game now. I've played the whole series. My favorite one is Bowser's Inside Story. I love that game to death. It is so funny. Playing as Bowser is great. The super moves you can do are so much fun to play, which unfortunately get rehashed in a Dream Team and Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which is my biggest gripe with those games. They reuse moves and stuff. I'm not a big fan of that, but Bowser's Inside Story is amazing. I put it as not my favorite, and then Superstar Saga, and then Partners in Time, followed by Paper Jam, and then Dream Team's my least favorite of the series.
Okay. Yeah, Superstar Saga was just a big game for me because it was one of the first games that I felt was extremely hard, at least for me, that I beat. It took me a while to beat it, but I beat it. And I felt so accomplished. And then I was able to go on and I had the confidence to beat these other really hard games, like Link to the Past, my Game Boy Advance, and so on and so forth.
That final boss in Superstar Saga is one of the most unforgiving bosses I have ever played. It is brutal.
I'm surprised I just didn't pick it down, but it was that, or put it down, but it was just that compelling and that good of a game that I was okay with dying multiple times until I beat it.
You just got to see that next line from Fawful.
It's great. So,
I have Fury.
Highly recommend that you get this game when it comes out on 3DS if you haven't played Superstar Saga. And even if you have played Superstar Saga, get it, because they added new animations and it looks fantastic.
Right. Hey, and maybe they'll say, hey, people really like this game. Let's try to keep with this mechanics, or let's try to go back and see what we did with the first game and maybe make a good one later on. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. But anyway, it'll be good to see when this game comes out October 6th. Yep. And lastly, I just want to cover the Amiibo that we're showing off. So we have the champion Zelda Amiibos.
They look beautiful.
They actually do fairly good, except for Mipha's face. There's something wrong with her face. That needed to go back into the editing or whatever they do.
Poor Mipha.
She's just like, hi, I'm Mipha. How's it going?
I'm Mipha.
Hey, you scratched my CD, and I will never forgive you. I'm sorry, that's a quote from something. Anyway, if you guys know what that movie is from or what that code is from, hey, you're good on my list.
Yeah.
Tweet at James.
Yeah, they look fantastic. Might be underproduced, but they look fantastic.
Yeah. They're a little more expensive than the normal amiibos, which is I was kind of surprised. I'm unsure why. Are they a little bigger, or is it just because they're Zelda that they up the price? I mean, obviously the Guardian amiibo was a little higher
just
priced.
Looking at them, they have so much detail done to them that I haven't seen in other amiibo before. So it might be just the amount of work that it takes. I don't know.
Maybe they just think they can get more money off the Zelda community. I mean, or they're offsetting the price for producing Derek.
Like,
Well, actually, now I think about it, probably Derek is rather large, huh?
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. I mean, he's pretty.
So his amiibo looks pretty big.
He may become the biggest amiibo.
He's gonna be bigger than the Guardian.
Oh my gosh! Fear Daruk,
Anyway.
Derek.
Come on, Derek.
Being compared to you is just so asinine. Anyway, so we have Mario and the Mario series. So we have Mario, Peach, and Bowser all in wedding outfits. You get them separately or in a pack. They all look fresh.
Yeah, they look really fresh.
They like fly in them white suits.
Oh my gosh. It makes me feel slightly worse about myself when Bowser can look so good in a suit like that, and I just looks like,
money.
Gosh. Well, or maybe it should be a self-esteem. Like, if Bowser can look good, so can I. I don't know.
Even Bowser looks good in the suit.
So it makes me actually wonder a little theory in there. So obviously Bowser's doing this kind of like "Will you marry me?" kind of a pose, but Mario's kind of doing that same pose too. So is this like a Mario and Peach gonna get married? Is that what this is? Anyway, sorry.
This time,
Peach has to choose.
Peach, you gotta choose one of us or we're done.
I've actually spent a lot of time with Bowser. Wait, what?
It's okay. I'll just go chase down my new dame, Pauline, again.
Pauline, she's a mayor, by the way, which has more political power than
the mayor has more political power than the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, she doesn't actually have any power. She's a fake monarch.
She's just a face. She's the Queen of England.
Yeah.
That is the real leader.
Captain Toad. Not Captain Toad. Toadsworth is actually controlling the kingdom.
Oh.
That's
why he hasn't been in any games for a while, is he's too busy.
He'll be in the remake.
That's true, he will be. I say that, Mario, you have to go save Peach. Anyway, so we also got some Samus amiibo, Metroid amiibo, excuse me. So we have a Samus and a Metroid, and the Metroid is squishy. It's a squishy. Oh gosh, I can't wait to get my hands on that one. And then we have Fire Emblem amiibo. We have Chrom and Tiki. Not my choice.
Tiki's a weird choice, but okay.
Tiki's going to be in the game now. It's confirmed.
It has, confirmed. Like what? Should we really have revealed these already? Whatever.
Should they have revealed Tiki?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why Tiki? Like, you haven't even showed her in the game. Now she has to be in the game. Whatever, I guess Tiki's in. I guess
she'll probably be like the fairy from the fairy fountain or something. I don't know.
Maybe
because that's how they treated her in Tokyo Mirage sessions. They treated her like that. She wasn't playable. She was just a side character who gave you advice.
Mm-hmm. And asked for donuts.
Yeah, asked for donuts that you must give her, but she cannot taste them, so you eat it and tell her what it tastes like.
Your description does not help me.
No,
she
was happy with the description. She's like, I just want to see.
How does that make any sense?
It's like she has sick fascination with watching people eat things.
That's a fetish. I'm just kidding.
Probably. That seems
so
like
there's
Fire
two other
Emblem
amiibo.
These days.
Yeah. Oof. So there's two other amiibo that we actually slightly mentioned, but I'm going to quickly mention it, are the Koopa Troopa and the Goomba amiibo. And they're actually part of the Mario series, not part of the... they're not with the Odyssey ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there Mario Odyssey is compatible with all Amiibo. So technically, all Amiibo are part of the Odyssey line.
So you just eat Zelda, the Zelda Amiibo, all the Samus Amiibo, the Samus, the two Samus
That's
Amiibos.
all Mario.
It's all Mario, actually.
Yeah.
Every game is Mario now.
So we basically covered all the games. There was actually a couple other like smaller ones. Like there was some like Sushi Samurai one. There may have been another one, I can't remember. But as far as we know, we don't know a whole lot about these, but we'll cover them at a later date if needs be. So moving on, we're going to talk about some surprises. Now, we know we've already mentioned we had great surprises at E3. What were some of the big ones for you guys? Like, just briefly mention them.
Well, Rocket League was a huge surprise. Going from the unobvious, the Rocket League was a huge surprise. But then, of course, Metroid Prime 4 is a huge surprise. I mean, I don't think...
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wanted it. Everybody was like, oh, it feels like they're going to announce it. That would be nice. And then it happened.
And everyone freaked out.
Yep.
And it was amazing.
Yep. As far from that, I don't have any super huge surprises.
Yeah.
Really?
Samus Returns was definitely a big surprise for me. And like I said, when we were talking about Prime 4, I was shaking when they announced it. I was so excited. So that was a big surprise. I don't know. I wouldn't say I was expecting a Kirby game or a Yoshi game, but I wasn't like surprised, like, oh yeah, it makes sense to put these games on.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Metroid, abso-freaking-lutely, and Rocket League. So yeah, those are my surprises.
Yeah, totally. So I guess for me, it was the biggest surprise was the fact that they had Metroid Prime 4 and the Samus Returns. That both 3D and 2D Metroid are coming. That blew my mind.
Well, they're covering their entire fan base. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. But I guess what also surprised me were the things that they didn't announce. Now, hear me out. I think this is a great E3, but I was expecting Animal Crossing.
Same.
Not in the sense that I needed to see it, but I felt like it would be the perfect time. Their app is supposedly coming out this year, and they said recently that it's still coming out this year. The app is supposed to have connection with the game. So where is this game? Maybe it won't come out till next year, but I felt like that it was a no-brainer that they would show it.
Yeah.
But
no, I agree totally. I thought they would have had Animal Crossing there. It's like, guys, it's been a long time. You can't just keep pushing New Leaf endlessly. Mm-hmm. Like, people are going to want another Animal Crossing game pretty soon, and on their Switch in HD on the TV. I mean, you had all the HD assets in the Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, but it wasn't a real Animal Crossing game. Where is this Animal Crossing game? It's kind of weird.
Exactly.
Disconcerting.
It is very strange. It makes you wonder how well the development is going. I mean, we just don't know. But that was a huge surprise for me. I guess it goes to show you don't have too much expectations at E3, because one minute you'll be expecting Animal Crossing, and the next you'll get Metroid Prime 4, which was definitely a good trade-off. But
it's funny. See, I love Animal Crossing. I like the core series, but I don't like all the spin-offs they've been doing with it. Like, Animal Crossing to me is, in my mind, it's weird because I think of it already as kind of a spin-off downtime game. So I don't know if I want more spin-offs of that. Even
Totally.
Like, if you could include some Happy Home Designer stuff in the next Animal Crossing game, go ahead. That's fun. Maybe include some mini games. That'd be cool too. But don't make them separate packages. Like, $40 for Happy Home Designer was just not worth it to me. And $60 for Amiibo Festival. That's just straight up highway robbery. Like, I don't. At which they did include those games in New Leaf later. So it would have been nice to hear of a new mainline Animal Crossing game. That's something I could really get behind, because It's been a while. It's been a long time.
And Animal Crossing sells really well. Like the latest Animal Crossing helped sell the 3DS quite a bit. Not as much as Pokemon would have, but it was big. It's a huge series, and it's really kind of sad that they didn't show us anything. Like they could have done what they did with Kirby and Yoshi and just be like, Animal Crossing for Switch now in development or something.
Maybe it's not coming yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what we've heard and what the hearsay is, maybe it's just all wrong. Maybe they just don't have it in development, which is disappointing. But I could have. I just it's just so odd because they said the app would work with the game. Yeah. But anyway, I guess
it could just be at the point
maybe they're going different direction.
Maybe it's just at the point they don't feel comfortable announcing it yet.
Well, it could be, and they've announced titles outside of E3 before, big titles. So
that's true.
So
now here's the thing: if they keep the same model for E3 as they have for the past 2 years, having the big game as the centerpiece of their presentation, and their showcase. What is that game going to be?
It's probably Prime 4 if they wanted to come out in 2018.
If it's coming out 2018, it could be Prime 4. Or could it be Animal Crossing? Is that big enough? Could it be Pokemon? I don't know. There's a few options. So I guess that's something to think about too, going forward.
Yep.
But I think Prime 4 would actually be really cool if we're in the planet that it's set in.
The overall takeaway I got from this, even just like the new theories and everything, is like there will be games to play on this console. You did not buy it for nothing. There will be really good stuff coming out, and Odyssey comes out October 27th. So this is going to be amazing. It's like you're going to have games to play. So I
think the biggest complaint that I've heard about the Switch was the fact that you only have Breath of the Wild. Only have Breath of the Wild. Okay.
Well, I mean, technically,
there was other games besides Breath
too.
of the Wild. But true. You could play on the Wii U too, and you could play a lot of the other games that were coming out on other consoles. It's just there were some games for the Switch, but now you can just look at it and say, hey, there's these Switch exclusive games that are coming out that are phenomenal. I mean, you're gonna be busy all year.
Yep, that's the way I like it.
That's great.
That's beautiful.
It's a great dilemma to have.
Yep.
How am I going to play all these games?
Like, where were these the past year and a half, Nintendo?
I know. Maybe they were just all waiting. It's like, oh my gosh, the Wii U is not doing very well. Yeah, pull it, put it to the Switch. I'm just kidding.
So everything's jumping.
Just push everything to Switch. Just do it.
What if a Star Fox Zero? Oh, we gotta give him something, Miyamoto. No.
Well, I don't know how Star Fox Zero would play on a Switch.
Yeah, they would have taken it. They would have taken the motion controls out. I don't know.
Modified. I was just
kidding about that.
They would have taken out that cockpit part for sure.
Oh yeah, they would have.
Yeah.
There was no way they could have utilized that. Well, without switching the screen or whatever.
That'd be so interesting.
There's one more thing I wanted to mention about expectations. I obviously was not getting my hopes up, but I was hoping that they would. Or excuse me, I thought it'd be a good idea if they were to show off the Virtual Console, but they didn't. It looks like that they're saving the Virtual Console for a time after they've done their online. They've put up their online experience.
Yeah, Dave and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. It seems like they're not ready to talk about it yet. They haven't even got their internet structure quite ready yet. And how the whole free games goes with games you've already paid for, or if they're even going to let you re-download games at a small price that you've already purchased before, or anything for this new console. There's a lot of stuff they're thinking about right now, since their infrastructure, for the Wii and such, wasn't extremely well thought out. They had to iron it all out to a cohesive package.
And to Nintendo, and for better or for worse, the Virtual Console plays second priority to online functionality. I mean, actually, I do think that's a good idea because you want to make sure your online experience is great. and not terrible. And then you can start worrying about the virtual console and how that's going to handle. So I guess in hindsight, it's a good idea. But you kind of, as a fan, you just want it already, But
Yeah,
there is a
absolutely.
process, and we just gotta wait for them to be at a point where it is ready.
Yep.
And like I said earlier, we'll definitely see details of a lot of these games in the future, and maybe some more new titles that haven't been announced in future directs. I mean, this is just the half of 2017. We could have one in September or October, November, but we'll be sure to cover that, and we're extremely excited to see where Nintendo goes with their titles. But I'm not holding my breath per se that we'll see new titles, But
Right.
I do expect like at least some directs to say, hey, this game is coming out this date. Be sure to look forward to that.
Yeah,
So,
I think we'll get little surprises, even if they're just like downloadable games or things like that,
yeah,
just to show
yeah,
up.
good point.
There's tons of stuff they probably withheld.
Yeah, good point.
So
They got to have a direct to show off the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 date, right? Don't you
Right.
think?
Oh, yeah, especially if it's coming out this year. It's the same goes for those other games that, they don't have dates quite yet. I imagine we'll get something with Skyrim where they'll show off how the motion controls work and all this other stuff. So I could see it totally coming.
And then delay it 2018.
Ooh, 'cause they wouldn't do that.
TBD 2018. What?
But you said whatever, Beth. Whatever. So E3 was good this year. I did enjoy it.
yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the C3. I was very happy.
Yeah, I hope that their E3s will be this, surprise heavy and entertaining going forward. But you never know. Well, maybe next year they'll have one game, and that one game will be some really obscure title that no one cares about.
I hope not, but
That'd be terrible. But knowing Nintendo, you never know.
Expect Animal Crossing, get Metroid.
That's how it works with Nintendo, I guess. This has been a really good long episode, guys. We haven't done a long one like this in a long time. So, thanks for chatting with me about E3, and thanks, James, for leading the discussion. Appreciate you. Before we end this episode, we'd like to thank you, our listener, for joining us today. Your support definitely means a ton. We want to give a shout out to our patrons, Chris and Chase, for helping make the show possible. We really appreciate the Patreon support. And if you want to join with them in supporting the podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Nintensity. We've got some cool stuff happening over there. There's some behind the scenes pictures and screenshots of what the show looks like while I'm editing it, as well as you'll get the episodes early if you go and help support us. Again, that's at patreon.com/Nintensity. That's it for this episode of the Virtual Boys podcast. Thanks for tuning in with us this week. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes. And we'd also remind you to check out our website at nintensity.com, where you can find Nintendo news, our show notes for these episodes, and more. This week's show notes are at nintend.city/EP56. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
Goodbye, you good people.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Mario.